92 or above. And this is where we think those severe storms will be this afternoon. So while your eyes should be on the coast in that area, looking at that, the impact of what will be Arthur moving by, you should also have an eye to the storms that are going on. Dr. Greg Postel is in Atlanta right now, and he's going to give you the update on Arthur and exactly what we've seen in its movement and what will be its path over the next few hours. Good morning, Greg. Good morning, Maria.
Good morning, Sam. Absolutely, because Dr. Greg Postel, we're looking at the radar, and it's looking very much like a hurricane.
Yes, it's gotten a lot better organized in the last 24 hours. The pressure has come down a little bit, the winds have come up, and now we have a Category 1 hurricane about 115 miles to the southeast of Charleston, South Carolina. That's where the center of circulation is, and notice now we've got some big storms here on the west side. So this means that the center will not have to cross the coast in order for some of this bad weather to get onshore. Keep that in mind. Right now, we're starting to see winds pick up at some of these buoys. These are sustained winds of 31 miles per hour. On the beach right now, the weather's not too bad. Occasional showers, but the winds are not real strong. That's good news. But we're going to have to watch closely later on this afternoon as some gusty winds inside as some of these showers move onshore. This is Southport, North Carolina, and you can see some big storms are rolling in from time to time, bringing some lightning and gusty winds, I think 20 to 30 miles per hour. Let's have a look at where the center of Arthur is likely to track today and tomorrow. The center is likely to be somewhere inside of this cone. If it's on the left side here, that would bring the center inland and bring hurricane force wind gusts likely to the Outer Banks, including Cape Hatteras. If the center hopefully moves farther out to sea, then maybe we'll keep some of that worst weather out to sea with it. That would be good news. But guys, one of the big problems, I think, what we're going to see with the close passage of Arthur to the coast is some storm surge, 1 to 3 feet storm surge there in South Carolina, and as much as 2 to 4 feet of storm surge in North Carolina. This is the amount of water that you will likely get above the highest tide. So normally dry ground may see 2 to 4 feet of water in parts of North Carolina tonight. Sam, back to you.
And that's important to know, Greg, even if the storm is offshore from these communities, moving water onshore and how much water will come into your community, important to know if you're in that area. All right, so let's get to a couple of our other shots that are in North Carolina right now. We're in Kill Devil Hills. Just south of me right now is our Jim Cantori. Jim is in Salvo, North Carolina. And Jim, that's an area where it's kind of very low. You're very close to where they were evacuating people in that area just because we're concerned about that water.
We are in the evacuation zone, Sam. This is Hatteras Island, and you can see behind me here the only way in and the only way out, Highway 12, and the cars are pretty much a steady stream. We've seen this since last night, to be quite honest with you, when they said there was going to be the mandatory evacuation since this morning, and you're probably talking about 50, 100,000 people, that some from Ocracoke that have come over on the ferry, and then, of course, people that are just down there in Hatteras Island around the Buxton area that are going through Salvo and up through Rodanthe. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at one of the cameras up there in Rodanthe. Now, this part of the National Seashore in places is only about 100 yards wide, so it's very, very thin out there. And this camera is not the one that I had in mind. We're going to show you a camera out of the roads, but you can certainly see the ocean here, which will get more ferocious as we go on in time. And here's why. Let me show you a loop. This is one of our high-resolution models, and we're going to show you how the winds are going to change here on the Outer Banks going into tonight. All right, we're going to see onshore winds coming in as the storm approaches. That means we're going to see, obviously, action from the ocean side. High tide is about 12:43 in the morning, and so we're going to certainly have that onshore wind, but the storm will still be pretty far to our south. But then during the morning, Maria, the winds come around from the backside, and that means we will have sound side flooding and a very good likelihood that Highway 12 will experience some overwash and some sand. So they've got equipment on standby. They're going to get that road cleared as quickly as possible, and hopefully by Friday afternoon, they're actually going to be welcoming people back here on Hatteras Island. That is the hope right now here from Salvo. Back to you.
We know that they have the best crews out there, and so we certainly are optimistic, that's for sure. But don't underestimate, if you can't get in or out of the island, that's it. It doesn't matter if your house is standing or not, so definitely heed those warnings. All right, let's take a look at some of the rough weather that came in through the New York City metro area yesterday. We're talking about flash flooding right about the time everybody was heading home. You can see that in New York City, everyone had their ponchos ready to go. About half an inch yesterday, officially in some areas, but but obviously there were other spots that got quite a bit more because those storms were not pushing very far or very quickly off to the east. So taking a look at what we can expect, obviously we are going to be factoring in the tropical moisture that is part of Arthur, but the main player for today will be that cold front. So out there right now you have some showers to the north and west of Philadelphia, so some of those suburbs, if you're coming down the northeast extension, you're running into that. But be concerned here when those storms do fire up a big area under those flash flood watches. That means that rain and that soil can't handle much more moisture, and you're talking about dew points in the 60s and 70s. You know you're still having that air you can wear, so the ingredients are there. The trigger, the cold front, it continues to fire up those showers and thunderstorms once again for the afternoon. Heads up for New York, Philadelphia, and D.C. Severe weather possible, including damaging winds and tons of lightning. More on Arthur next.
Currently in our area, 80 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight, thunderstorms early, low 76. Chance of rain, 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook. Today, partly cloudy with an afternoon shower or thunderstorm. High 94. Chance of rain 40%.
Good morning and welcome back to AMHQ, America's Morning Headquarters. We are live this morning along America's eastern shore as we continue to watch the brand new hurricane. If you're waking up and joining us this morning, as of about 5 o'clock this morning, it's now Hurricane Arthur, just as we knew it would be right here on the Weather Channel. We're live in Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina. Just take a look at the water behind me. The breeze has just picked up to a general light breeze right now. Waves are still very light, but this storm is off the coast of South Carolina this morning, and people are taking precautions for that. Ana Rodriguez is in Atlanta, and she will talk to us a little bit about how this storm is impacting travel and vacationers all along the coastline. Good morning, Ana Rodriguez.
Good morning, Sam. The governor declaring a state of emergency for 25 counties in North Carolina, but mandatory evacuations are in place this morning for Hatteras Island. They began about 2 hours ago at 5 o'clock this morning. This includes the towns of Rodanth, Salvo, Waves, Avon, Buxton, Hatteras Village, not the Northern Banks. No southbound traffic to Hatteras Island. No one allowed on the island until this ban is lifted. Voluntary evacuations for Ocracoke Island are in place, and in order to ease the backups as residents and visitors try to evacuate Ocracoke Island, the North Carolina Department of Transportation's Ferry Division has adjusted its Hatteras Inlet schedule. So for this morning, ferries will be departing at 7:25, 8:45, 9:45 from Ocracoke. From Hatteras, they'll be departing at 7:35, 8:35, and 9:55. In addition, 4 boats will be used as shuttles, making unscheduled runs between Ocracoke and Hatteras to alleviate the backup. The ferry tolls will be waived, but remember, there is a likelihood that these ferries will stop running as Arthur nears the coastline. And if you made any travel plans this 4th of July weekend and you're headed to the Mid-Atlantic or the Northeast, you may want to listen up. Delta is offering refunds to anyone whose flights are canceled or significantly delayed. Even if your flight is not canceled, you may make a one-time change to your ticket at no charge. The affected destinations include Baltimore, JFK, LaGuardia, Newark, Philadelphia, Dulles, and Reagan International Airport. And in New York, part of the Brooklyn Bridge damage as a strong thunderstorm moves through, injuring 5 people. The facade gave way under the overpass at Prospect and Washington Streets. Crews say a 25-foot wide section was damaged. No word yet on what exactly caused the collapse, but Maria, this was not a retaining wall, so the structural integrity of the bridge is still intact.
And that's good news for the thousands of pedestrians and all of those vehicles. All right, appreciate it, Anna Riddis. We want to get back to North Carolina, parts of the state under those hurricane watches or the warnings this morning. So we want to give you a heads up of where those are so you can take the precautions that you need for you and your family. But here's a look at the storm right now. Arthur making its way close to the South Carolina and North Carolina coast here. Looking at the watches and warnings out there right now. We're going to start with the watches, which means that conditions are possible in the next 24 to 36 hours. You've got Wilmington in that watch. Those areas in red are the tropical storm warnings. That includes Myrtle Beach and Wilmington, all the way up to Virginia Beach. So those areas in purple where we have the hurricane warnings from Beaufort on up into Kill Devil Hills. Of course, all the Outer Banks islands involved in that. Now, this time of year, especially with it being holiday weekend, the North Carolina coast is that hotspot for thousands. But with that mandatory evacuation in effect and Arthur moving closer and closer, we don't want that weekend to be a bust. We do have Reynolds Wolf live for us out in the Outer Banks. And Reynolds, you know, you still have the sun shining. It's another good day for tourists and residents alike to prepare.
Yeah, I know. It's a weird situation because where we happen to be, we don't have the mandatory evacuation. So this morning, people are greeted with the rising sun and a bit of a decision. And we're not talking the decision between water or coffee with the breakfast. They've got to decide whether they're going to stay or they're going to go. Reason because, obviously, Arthur, which you see behind me, as that comes closer, we're going to see the wind pick up even more. The surf is going to be enhanced. We're going to have the risk of those rip currents. And at the same time, yeah, we're talking the heavy, heavy rainfall. I can tell you that people here really trying to take it in stride. Some people, remember, this is the 4th of July weekend. They're here with their families. They're trying to make the very most of it. Some will be retreating, taking off out of here, but others are going to hunker down the best they can. Hopefully this thing will pass through, and it looks like the weekend should be much better, especially as we get into both Saturday and Sunday. Let's send it up the coast a bit to the Outer Banks to Kill Devil Hills, and that's where we'll find Sam Champion. Sam, take it away, man.
Hey, thanks, Reynolds. And Stephanie Abrams, who's been out here all morning long with Wake Up with Al, is going to be with us throughout on AMHQ and throughout our constant coverage. I know you've been out talking to people about the roads, and Reynolds was talking about making that decision. And it has everything to do with when the roads are open and when they're closed. So what does NCDOT had to say?
Well, what they're doing right now is they're actually topping off their fuel tanks. They're getting the front end loaders, the bulldozers. Because if you are a visitor here to the Outer Banks, Highway 12 is going to, I'm telling you, it's going to be covered in water. It always is covered in sand. You don't even need a hurricane for that to happen. And we're going to get that onshore flow. Now remember, the diameter of the storm, 400 miles across. It's a big storm. So this is going to start even when it's far off to our south.
All right. And when we come back, we're going to talk to the head of FEMA. They're making decisions as well that will impact the folks who are all along the coastline to let you know how you'll be able to get help if, in fact, your property's damaged from this storm. We'll be right back on AMHQ. All right.
From safety to fuel economy to quality. Today's Chevrolet has it all, and it's a great time to buy. During the Chevy 72-hour sale, you'll get 0% APR for 72 months, plus no monthly payments for the rest of the summer. 0% APR for 72 months, plus no monthly payments for the rest of the summer. Hurry, the Chevy 72-hour sale ends Monday. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Let's unplug the past. Let's say goodbye to those. And hello to whoa. Let's find a better way to cook this, wash that, compare those, and save these. Because you can make dinner, or you can make dinner a breeze. Are you ready? Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Right now, this Whirlpool washer-dryer, just $349 each.
There once was a hungry road that ate up tires, wearing down tread and wearing out safety. Then along came the Michelin Man.
I'll never forget that moment. The moment I realized I was overweight and I needed help. I remember thinking, I don't want to be this anymore. I was 50 pounds overweight. 50. I needed to do something about it. But what? I called Nutrisystem. The best option for me.
Now you can lose weight even faster with a Fast 5 kit from Nutrisystem. Lose 5 pounds your first week or your money back, guaranteed.
I lost 50 pounds on Nutrisystem, and it's completely changed my life for the better.
Order your 28-day MyWay plan right now, and we'll rush you the Fast 5 free. You'll get 1 week of fantastic energizing shakes, 1 week of amazing Craving Crusher shakes, plus 1 week of delicious meals, and it's all free.
Nutrisystem helped me get my life back. And 7 years later, I'm still a believer. Don't wait. Call now and make today the moment when you start looking and feeling great.
Call now, 888-652-SIZE, and lose your first 5 pounds free.
Medicare supplement insurance plans endorsed by AARP. Don't wait. Call now. Home improvement improved with the Home Depot Project of the Week. We take you step by step through great seasonal tips and easy to do projects for your home and garden every Saturday morning on Weather Center Live. And for more information and inspiration for your next how-to project, go to weather.com/Home Depot.
Stay tuned for your local on the 8s, brought to you by ServPro, helping make fire and water damage like it never happened.
Everything is ruined.
It's okay. We're ready. When the things that matter most are on the line, make sure we are too. The Fire and Water Cleanup Team at 1-800-SERVPRO. Like it never even happened.
Ugh, the stress.
New Coppertone Clearly Sheer sunscreens. Barely noticeable and face-friendly for beach, pool, and sunny days. Perfect, no matter what you're wearing.
It's so on.
Coppertone Clearly Sheer. It's on.
State officials urge complete evacuation. Severe flooding is expected.
It's okay. We're ready.
When the things that matter most are on the line, make sure we are too. The Storm Response Team at 1-800-SERVPRO. Like it never even happened.
Currently in our area, 79 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 94. Chance of rain 40%. Tonight, thunderstorms early, low 76. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
We're 19 minutes past the hour here on AMHQ. We're taking a live look at Norfolk, Virginia, where a tropical storm warning is in effect. Cold front's also bringing heavy rain. It's going to be moving into this afternoon. So you've got kind of a double whammy here in places like coastal Virginia. So keep that in mind. You're talking about front today, and then the next 24 to 48 hours here, the impacts of Arthur. So the clouds are really hauling. But we want to get an update on Arthur, and Dr. Greg Postel is here. And, you know, a lot of times we focus on the one number, the max winds. Mm-hmm. They're up to 75 miles per hour, but there's that wind field that spreads out.
Yeah, the impacts will be spread quite a ways from the center. I mean, we're going to have heavy rains and even some storm surge flooding associated with that on the Outer Banks. But let's have a look at the latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center to give people sort of an update on where Arthur is and what its status is. We have a 75 mile per hour Category 1, about 115 miles southeast of Charleston, South Carolina, sitting out here, moving north at 9. And that is important, the motion, because that's going to give us an idea of how close to the coast it's going to get. And if you look at the radar, Maria, you get the sense that maybe it's beginning to take a little bit of a northeastward jog. I would not be surprised if in the next advisory we see the motion not north, but maybe north-northeast, something like that. You see how it's kind of going in that direction?
So are we getting that nudge from that front? Yeah, the high pressure?
Could be, could be. The steering currents may be beginning to take over now, pushing it a little bit more parallel to the coast instead of sort of heading it northward, which is a good sign. You want it as far away from the coast as possible. But also notice that we've got some big storms now on the west side of the circulation center, not like we had yesterday. Remember yesterday everything was loaded on the east side? Now we've got bad weather on the west side, which means the center does not have to cross the coast in order for some of the strong winds and the worst weather to get inland.
Okay, one thing I want to point out real quick. Sometimes we don't see a ton of lightning with tropical systems. I'm seeing it on your radar there.
You're getting some here, and I think there's going to be more so in some of these outer bands as well. We will see some lightning come onto the beaches, I think, today. And let me show you a Doppler radar view of this to show you how fast the winds are at about 15,000 feet. So this is way up in altitude, but the idea is that there are 80-mile-per-hour winds there where there's some heavy showers and thunderstorms. So those storms could bring some of those big wind gusts down to the ocean surface, and they may do that close to the coast later on tonight. Right now we do, as Maria, you were mentioning, we've got some lightning strikes moving closer and some big storms to Southport, North Carolina, getting close to Wilmington. We'll see that today. And here are the forecast models showing you where we think the center of the circulation is going to go by 3 in the morning, real close to Hatteras. And again, there will be damaging winds on the west side of the center. So don't focus on exactly where the center is going to go.
And so how big of a storm are we talking about? Maybe talking about a diameter of influence.
I think the hurricane force winds may extend outward to the west, say 20 miles or so at most. It's really not that big a storm in terms of hurricane force winds, but we will see some rains and some flooding well before it moves in.
All right, Dr. Postel, as always, thank you so much for that insight. Sam, I'll send it over to you.
Yeah, Maria, Greg, it's very interesting that on the west side of this is the jet stream of that cold front. On the east side, it's riding the outside of that high pressure, traveling along it just a little like a highway. We're just not sure which lane of the highway it's going to stay in. Well, the Federal Emergency Management Agency is monitoring this storm, and you know they would be. So let's talk to the head of FEMA, Craig Fugate, who joins us now. Good morning, Craig. Are you with us?
Yeah, good morning, Sam.
Good morning. I'm so glad to see you, sir. Thank you for taking time out of the day. Now, this is a big decision day for folks who are anywhere from the Outer Banks of North Carolina north with this storm. What do you want people to know? What's FEMA's advice here with this storm as it moves by the coast?
If you're in the evacuation zone and people tell you to evacuate, local officials have issued those orders, go now. Sun may be shining, but as you point out, conditions will deteriorate later today. Get ready, do your final preparations. If you're in the evacuation zone, evacuate. And remember, the conditions can be far away from center circulation, so we expect severe weather across a lot of areas in the Carolinas, not just along the coast today.
Yeah, now, Craig, does it concern you that this is a holiday weekend and a lot of folks are going to be driving toward the coastline and they're going to want to sit out this storm? They're not going to want to leave their vacation homes. Are you guys concerned about that at all?
Yeah, we're always concerned. In fact, the governor of North Carolina has called out National Guard. He's got swiftwater rescue teams, but he's really urging, as well as the local officials, if you're in the evacuation zone, evacuate today. If you're traveling to the coast and that's in an area that's in an evacuation zone, postpone your plans. You may be able to salvage the weekend, but we want people to be safe.
Totally agree with you, Craig. Thank you for taking some time with us, because as this storm moves away, you will be able to get the weekend. It's just the last few days of this week that could be a problem for a good part of the coast. We'll be right back on AMHQ.
Hurricane coverage is brought to you by State Farm. When nature strikes, State Farm is there to get you to a better state. It's important to plan ahead by creating a disaster survival kit and emergency evacuation plan. This hurricane preparedness tip brought to you by State Farm.
Ike, Andrew, Rita, Ivan, Sandy. Meet Chris, Jackie, Joe, Shannon. Minor damage or major disaster. When you need us most, we're there. State Farm. We're a force of nature, too.
After winning 10 Gold Gloves, I know when I've made a great catch. That's why for over 10 years I've used Blue Emu. It's made with real emu oil. It's a non-greasy, deep penetrating formula that works itself down into my joints. And now for those hard to reach places, there's new Blue Emu Pain Relief Spray. Odorless, made with an active ingredient for pain relief. It will soothe those muscles and get down into that joint pain. Take it from me, it works fast and you won't stink. Blue Emu, it works for me, it'll work for you.
Hello! 3 grams daily of beta-glucan, a soluble fiber from whole grain oat foods like Cheerios, can help lower cholesterol. Thank you.
I'm a loving husband and a real good dad, but weeds just make me rattlesnake mad. Well, Roundup has a sharpshooting wand. I'm sending them weeds to the great beyond. Roundup. Yeah. No need to pump, just point and shoot. Hit them in the leaves and it kills to the root. Round fences, trees, even mulched beds, because the only good weed is a weed that's dead. Roundup. Yeah. Roundup. Yeah. With a one-touch wand.
When you're awake and can't sleep an ounce, unwind with Tide Downy and Bounce. The Sweet Dreams collection is so relaxing, so you can tuck in and turn off after a day oh so taxing. Tide Downy and Bounce, official products of the National Sleep Foundation.
After 50 years of designing cars for crash survival, Subaru has developed our most revolutionary feature yet. A car that can see trouble and stop itself to avoid it. When the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety tested front crash prevention, nobody beat Subaru models with eyesight. Not Honda, not Ford, or any other brand. Subaru Eyesight, an extra set of eyes every time you drive.
Want to celebrate the 4th without little uninvited guests? Stop by your neighborhood Ace to get Ortho Home Defense Max with Comfort Wand. Just $9.99 after $3 instant savings during our 4th of July event, happening now.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
A Weather Channel original series.
Never put your hands on me.
Catching Hell. Sundays at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 79 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 94. Chance of rain 40%. Tonight, thunderstorms early. Low 76. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Good morning. It's about 29 minutes after the hour right here on AMHQ, America's morning headquarters. We are live in Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina, among other places along the East Coast this morning in preparation for Hurricane Arthur to move up the coastline on the 4th of July holiday weekend. Those are all big headlines, and we're going to make sure that you're prepared here. As you're standing here looking at the sunshine and kind of the gentle ripple of the waters behind me, please know that this storm, the outer bands of the rain, are just about 200 miles to my southwest out that way. And we're going to get to you to Jim Cantori in just a moment. And whenever we're talking about the storm today, it's going to be closer to Jim each time we talk about it than it is to me. Jim's a little bit farther to the south. But let's get you in front of the weather this morning, and we'll tell you exactly all of the weather that you're going to need to know. Here we're talking about the Northeast, and wow, what a tough afternoon and evening. Those pictures were flying on social media with more than 200 wind reports yesterday, including 70-mile-per-hour plus wind gusts across the state of New York. Now, this will happen again today. You've got high heat, high high humidity, and as this front gets closer to you, you're going to get another round of storms. Of course, we're watching Arthur. Take a look where Arthur is right now. If you were going to find the center of this storm, you'd look off the South Carolina coast, and the plans are it continues to move to the north. May hit a little bit of a northeastern move now. Now, will it crease the outer banks of North Carolina, and how close will it get to New Jersey and Long Island and the coast of Massachusetts? Well, that's all yet to be determined, but we're tracking it this morning. And then take a look at the storms that are going on in the southeast because of this. We'll have some rain bands, even if the storm doesn't move onshore. Some difficult weather will, during the day today, move on with these rain bands. We've seen some lightning in these storms. This is some dangerous weather. And also, we'll have some water moving onshore, getting pushed by this storm. And Jim Cantori is just a little bit south of me in Salvo, North Carolina. And Jim, that water is hugely important to where you are because everyone around you is being made to evacuate. Jim, talk to me a little bit about how much water moves where you are and why it's important to get people out of there.
Well, I mean, this stretch of the National Seashore isn't very wide at all. I'm at about a 300-yard or more stretch, but in some places, Sam, it's actually less than 100 yards. And you can see the sound and the ocean pretty much at the same time. Highway 12 behind me here, it's been a pretty steady stream, really, of people coming northbound. Those would be the headlights coming at us, or at least this morning the headlights, but now obviously the front of the cars that are going on toward the northbound. But the area floods. It's a very low part of the National Seashore. And, not so much where I'm standing here, but off to my north, we've certainly got lower spots where they've reconstructed the bridge. Back in Irene, it was awful, the damage that was done here back in 2011. So thank goodness since then it's gotten better. All right, let's talk about this. People out on the beach yesterday enjoying a beautiful day, really, and it's actually beautiful again today, but most people aren't thinking about going to the beach. They're evacuating as they're being asked to do, so that is a very good thing. And again, my hat's off to emergency managers, especially given the enormous pressure, certainly from businesses, to get people out of harm's way. But lives are number one, ladies and gentlemen. Lives are number one. We got a chance to talk to a vacationer yesterday, and this is what he had to say about the whack that the businesses are going to take here because people are leaving.
Oh, I think it's a big impact because you figure if a lot of the people evacuate or leave, you think of the restaurants, all the businesses, the fishing, all that kind of stuff. Big impact on the folks who are down here with the tourist industry.
So, Sam, tomorrow morning at this time, we may actually see the storm just to our north, which would bring the winds around from the northwest, and that means the sound will be pushing back over this area and potentially flooding. So we face flooding from both directions, the ocean side and the sound side. Either way, we do expect Highway 12 to be underwater. But the good news is we're probably going to see that big equipment in here moving that sand as quick as possible, and by tomorrow night, it could actually be a much improved July 4th weekend here in Hatteras Island. All right, Maria, back to you in the studio.
Absolutely, Jim. They are highly motivated, so good to hear that they're going to be at work. Also at work, perhaps crews fixing power lines in the Northeast again today. Another round of strong thunderstorms. They're out there right now. You can see some showers, Buffalo off of Lake Ontario, but also moving in from the Ohio Valley and the suburbs of Philadelphia. You have some showers coming through. But it really is go time again this afternoon. And keep in mind, remember all that flooding from those showers and thunderstorms? Another round of flash flooding could be possible here from Virginia all the way on up into Maine. So when planning the rest of the afternoon, think about what happened yesterday. Once the afternoon hit, you had the showers and the thunderstorms really pop just in time for the evening rush around Allentown. New York City could get slammed again by 8, 9 o'clock. We could be looking at those gusty winds, and look at what's on our map right now overnight into Friday. It looks like Arthur. So today, with the front moving through, our big concern will be the severe weather. Damaging winds, a big concern, but also the torrential rainfall all the way from Roanoke on up into Burlington. So for New York, the time length here, we're looking after the morning drive and into the evening rush. Sam?
What am I doing? Okay. All right, thanks, Maria. When we come back on AMHQ, we're going to talk to some folks who know about how the roads are getting out of here and what the plans are to make sure the people that need to evacuate can evacuate safely. We'll be right back on AMHQ.
In for savings. Get 10 to 30% off major appliances $3.99 or more, plus 18 months special financing through July 7th at Lowe's.
Nobody told us to expect it. Intercourse that's painful due to menopausal changes. The problem isn't likely to go away on its own. So it's time we do something about it. And there's help. Premarin Vaginal Cream, a prescription that does what no over-the-counter product was designed to do. It provides estrogens to help rebuild vaginal tissue and makes intercourse more comfortable. Premarin Vaginal Cream treats vaginal changes due to menopause and moderate to severe painful intercourse caused by these changes. Don't use Premarin Vaginal Cream if you've had unusual bleeding, breast or uterine cancer, blood clots, liver problems, stroke, or heart attack, are allergic to any of its ingredients, or think you're pregnant. Side effects may include headache, pelvic pain, breast pain, vaginal bleeding, and vaginitis. Estrogens may increase your chances of getting cancer of the uterus, strokes, blood clots, or dementia, so use it for the shortest time based on goals and risks. Estrogen should not be used to prevent heart disease, heart attack, stroke, or dementia. Ask your doctor about Premarin Vaginal Cream and go to PremarinVaginalCream.com. This is worth talking about.
Wait! Prilosec's not made for immediate heartburn relief. Zantac's different. Zantac rushes relief in as little as 30 minutes. Prilosec can take 24 hours. Zantac, no pill relieves heartburn faster.
Really? So our business can be on AT&T's network for $175 a month?
Yep, all 5 of you for $175.
Our clients need a lot of attention.
There's unlimited talk and text.
We're working deals all day.
You get 10 gigabytes of data to share.
What about expansion potential?
Add a line anytime for $15 a month.
Low dues, great terms.
Let's close.
Introducing AT&T Mobile Share Value Plans with our best ever pricing for business.
Searching with devotion for a snack that isn't lame, but this takes my breath away.
I'm Adam Richmond. To get a tender steak like these that I picked up at Walmart, look for great marbling. Just the right amount brings out the flavor in heaping forkfuls of joy.
Try all natural steaks from Walmart today. They're 100% guaranteed or your money back.
Bridgestone's new Drive Guard tires are engineered to take a puncture and go up to 50 miles.
We can drive 50 miles on a flat, and you have an app that makes nails pop up?
Yep.
We could rule the world. But I've got carpool at 3, though, so
that time.
We could, mess with the world.
50 miles on a flat. Because if your tires keep rolling, your day does too. And there's no better place to get your Bridgestone Drive Guard tires than Firestone Complete Auto Care.
Currently in our area, 80 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 94. Chance of rain 40%. Tonight, thunderstorms early, low 76. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
For the top of the hour, welcome back into AMHQ. Hurricane Central right now as we're tracking the first hurricane of the Atlantic season, Arthur. And right now, a live look at Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina. The first rain bands you can see coming along this morning, Wrightsville Beach in the Wilmington area. We're going to have live reports from here all day. Our Reynolds Wolf is there for us. We do expect the conditions to continue to deteriorate here. Looks like for the Wilmington area, the peak impacts will start to happen here late tonight, including the rough surf and the rip currents, really the main threats here. And we're looking at minor coastal flooding possible. So if you are looking at those roadways that tend to flood pretty easily, it looks like those are going to be the prime candidates as we go in through the next 12 to 24 hours. All right, time now for a look at your scorecast. And Reese Waters is in the house with the latest on all that. Good morning, Reese.
Hey, what's going on, Maria?
Reese.
Thank you, guys. Now, with Hurricane Arthur bearing down, there's a ton of sporting events that will be affected. So let me just take you through a couple of those. You've got around Charleston, there's a couple teams. There's the Myrtle Beach Pelicans. That's a single-A baseball team. You also have the Myrtle Beach Mutiny of the National Premier Soccer League. Now, fortunately for both of them, they'll both be out of town for the 4th of July. But a couple of teams will actually be in town. The Charleston River Dogs, the single-A affiliate of the Yankees. You also have the Palmetto Havoc. That's a minor league football team as well. They're in town for the holiday weekend. The River Dogs play at home against Rome on the 4th, 5th, and 6th. They're in Savannah tonight, and the Havoc try and cause some against the Carolina Bulls on Saturday. Now, Friday, it looks like there could be some residual effects from Arthur. Wet fields, maybe slippery turf. But it should be plenty of warm, so take solace in that. Sunday, you could see some storms, so bring an umbrella just in case. Sam, what's going on with you, sir?
All right. Hey, Reese, thank you for that. Live on the beach with Stephanie Abrams, and there's not a good time for a hurricane, but a holiday weekend when you know people are driving to the coastline and want to stay here because they've spent their money is a bad time.
And we want people to stay here because this is only a one-day thing, and Saturday and Sunday will be beautiful, so please don't change your plans. But let's talk about what is happening here. There are mandatory evacuations on Hatteras Island that kicked in at 5 o'clock this morning, and the only road to the mainland is Highway 12 here through the OBX, as they call it. So let's talk more about what's going to happen with that.
All right, and 12 was wiped out in 2011. When Sandy went by, 12 was completely wiped out.
You don't even need a hurricane.
Right, there will be water on 12. You need to know that. But joining us now live on the phone is Tony Tata, Secretary of North Carolina's Department of Transportation. Tony, are you there? Do we have you?
I'm here. Thank you.
All right, super. Glad you're with us this morning. So what are the plans to get people out? I mean, you've got about 50 years of constant hurricanes moving through this area, so I'm guessing you're well prepared.
Well, Bonner Bridge is a 50-year-old bridge, 25 years beyond its lifespan, and it's still doing well. Our divers have been in the water last week, and everything is safe with Bonner Bridge right now, Highway 12. We have pre-positioned about 25 bucket loaders, dump trucks, heavy equipment to be able to move the sand, should sand or overwash come onto the road. Our ferry division has doubled down, and we are evacuating under a voluntary evacuation from Ocracoke Island, and we're evacuating if folks need it from Hatteras Island as well. And so everybody from Brunswick County all the way up to Currituck County along the North Carolina coast is working very hard to make sure that all of our citizens are safe during this weather event, just like we would do in the mountains when we get a lot of snow and have to clear the roads. Yeah. It's really no different. So we're working hard.
Will you be?
Yes.
Will you be clearing those roads while the storm is coming through, or do you wait until after?
Well, you know, we're also concerned about the safety of our hardworking engineers and maintenance crews. So that's a judgment call that the division engineers will make on the ground. So that is why Hatteras County or Dare County in Cape Hatteras, we've got a mandatory evacuation going on so we can get everybody off so that nobody's in danger in a medical situation, and then as the storm passes, most likely we will double down on our efforts to clear the road. But it's frequent that we have teams on site clearing the road, but we would like everybody to comply with the Dare County emergency evacuation order, get off the island,
of course,
so that we can then clear the road and then everybody get back safe.
All right. Hey, Tony, let me ask you something else quickly before we run out of time. We've got the ports of Wilmington and Morehead City under your jurisdiction. So what's going on with those ports and the traffic in and out of them?
Yeah, so they're under condition whiskey, and what that means is they're tying down loose cargo, and at the Morehead port through the Shackleford Bank they're limiting traffic.
All right, thanks, Tony. We're going to run, and we're, of course, continuing our coverage right here on the beach. Thanks, Tony.
Okay, ladies, whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Thank you. I got this.
Oh, no, I'll get it.
Let me get it. I don't want you to pay for this.
It's not happening, honey.
Let her get it.
She got her safe driving bonus check from Allstate last week, and it's her treat.
What about a tip?
Oh, here's one. Hit an Allstate agent.
Nice.
Switch today and get 2 safe driving bonus checks a year for driving safely, only from Allstate. Call 866-788-0900 now.
Here we go. Hold on, man. Is that a leak up there? That's a drip. Now that's a leak.
That is a leak.
And if you don't have Allstate Renters Insurance, game over.
Protect your valuables from things like water damage for as low as $4 a month when you add renter's insurance to your Allstate auto policy. Call 866-788-0900 now. And if you're a safe driver, you can save up to 45%.
Just a few more ways Allstate is changing car insurance for good.
Call an Allstate agent and get a quote now.
Let's try on a new coat, one that covers better, lasts longer, and protects us from the elements, inside and out. Let's go to the place with the best paint. Take it home for less. Then rock and roll. Let's do the one thing that changes everything. Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Right now, get $5 off cans and $20 off buckets of select paints and stains.
Introducing York Minis. A bite-sized new way to enjoy the full-size sensation of peppermint and rich dark chocolate. New York Minis. Get the sensation.
School's out and summer's in. Kick off your road trip at Pep Boys Hit the Road Jack sales event. This week only, get a DIY.
As women, we always talk about how we should look or what's the best way to lose weight. But for me, it finally became all about how I feel. No tricks, just me. I looked in the mirror and I saw what I didn't want to see, the truth. I was 50 pounds overweight. It was a rough day. That's when I decided I had to lose weight. So I chose the only simple option for me, Nutrisystem.
Now you can lose weight even faster with the Fast 5 kit from Nutrisystem. Lose 5 pounds your first week or your money back, guaranteed.
I lost 50 pounds on Nutrisystem.
Order your 28-day My Way plan and we'll rush you the Fast 5 kit free. You'll get a week of fantastic energizing shakes, 1 week of delicious Craving Crusher shakes, and a free week of 21 delicious meals, and it's all free.
So why do I keep telling you about Nutrisystem? Because it works, and I know it'll work for you.
Call 888-541-SIZE and lose your first 5 pounds free.
266-2838 now. That's 1-855-266-2838.
A Weather Channel original series.
Never put your hands on me.
Catching Hell. Sundays at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 80 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 94. Chance of rain 40%. Tonight, thunderstorms early, low 76. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Minutes for the top of the hour, and we are giving you an update now on Arthur, and Dr. Greg Postel is here, and we are waiting for the intermediate advisory, which looks like there's going to be an update.
Yeah, there will be an update soon, coming in momentarily, and we'll get it for you as soon as we do, but as soon as it comes in. Yeah. But I just noticed some of the aircraft flying in there have found some higher winds than they did earlier today. Some data suggests that maybe the winds have come up just a little bit. We'll wait for the latest advisory on that.
Okay, so what does that do for what we're looking at here? Is it on track?
I think it's kind of on track.
Okay.
Sort of overall, the theme is we expected a slow intensification intensification today, and I think that's what we're seeing right now. Let's look at the watches and warnings that we've got out for the Carolina coast. We do have hurricane warnings there in purple there for parts of eastern North Carolina. Beaufort, Cape Hatteras, Kill Devil Hills included, and tropical storm warnings to the south of that and also to the north of that. Can't forget our friends in Virginia, right? Virginia Beach included in the tropical storm warning.
Okay, we often see them warnings and the watches along the coast, but we're also looking at impacts a little bit inland.
Yeah, we'll have some impacts inland. And for example, in Wilmington, North Carolina, we'll have our peak impacts later on tonight. Rough surf and the rip currents will be the main threat, and minor coastal flooding is possible. And let's look at the coastal flooding issues that I think we'll be dealing with Arthur.
Okay, we're seeing the storm surge 1 to 3 feet. Put it in perspective here for places like Charleston, Myrtle Beach. Is that a lot? Is that kind of typical?
It's about right for a storm like this. I mean, I guess that's the easy way out of it. It's minor flooding, really, and this is 1 to 3 feet above the highest high tide that you expect. So places that are normally dry at the tip of the highest high tide may see 1 to 3 feet in this area, all the way from Charleston northward to Wilmington. And then northward from there, the storm surge comes up a little bit in the parts of the Outer Banks and in North Carolina as well.
And why is it a little bit more here, do you think?
Well, it's going to be closer to the coast. The winds are going to be closer to the coast, and sort of the agitated sea will be bringing some water inland closer to the Carolina coast in North Carolina than in South Carolina. So stay tuned for that. The main impacts, again, would be overnight tonight. And, you know, we're going to have to watch the intensity of this. Right now, as I said, this is the last advisory that we had at 5 a.m., 75 miles per hour, moving north at 9. I think they may do two things with this in the next update. They may change the motion of it. Instead of due north, maybe just a little bit north-northeast, something like that. And they may increase the speed, the wind speed on it. But let's have a look at some of the winds along the coast, Maria, and they're fortunately not very strong.
And when we're looking at the size of it, you know, geographic coverage here, it's relatively small.
It is. Yeah. It is. That's an important point. I mean, the worst weather associated with this does not extend out that far from the center. We think maybe the hurricane force winds extend outward perhaps as much as 20 to 30 miles, mostly on the east side, but some on the west side. That's a difference in yesterday. Remember yesterday? Everything was all on the east side, and now we've got some bad weather on the west side, and some of that is actually now moving into parts of North Carolina, close to Wilmington, some showers and storms.
And those look like pretty decent sized storms. Is that sort of a good thing early on in the beginning of the day? People are seeing some of that rough weather and they'll be like, okay, I got this. It's going to be serious.
Yes, I think that gets people's attention right away, that a tropical system is coming in. And let's find out where the center is going to go. This is an important point because it looks like the center is going to track very close to Cape Hatteras overnight tonight, bringing some hurricane force wind gusts with it, we think.
All right, Dr. Greg Postel waiting on that update, Sam. We do think that it may be a little bit of a change in direction and maybe increasing the intensity. So we'll have that in a few minutes.
All right, and by the way, Greg and Maria, we're going to talk to Dave right now, but when that information comes in, just jump me in my ear. We'll put it on TV right here on the Weather Channel, so anyone who's watching us will get it first. This is an important area right here at the Outer Banks. It's that elbow that goes out into the water, and about 35,000 people live here, regular basis, but during the holidays, Dave Malkoff, it swells to about 200,000 people. And I know you were talking to residents and visitors alike, and talking about whether or not they were going to stay through this storm or go, and what the area was like.
Yeah, you could get those 200,000 tourists that come in here, maybe even 250,000 or 300,000 tourists on any given day. Over the course of a year, you get 6 million people.
Wow.
6 million people who come here to the Outer Banks. The reason why they come here is, look at this.
You can
beautiful.
see it. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It's almost isolated, this beach. You get it to yourself. It's really nice, and it's kind of stuck in time, isn't it? And it's so nice to come down here, but a lot of people are thinking about getting out of here because of the hurricane coming. I talked to a bunch of people who were hang gliding yesterday, and we're going to see that in about an hour. And they were there. They were saying that they've come as far as China to come here to hang glide off of those dunes where the Wright brothers flew their first plane in 1903. The wind is both the gift and the curse for these
for
islands.
this area. We were just talking to a Chicago firefighter who said, you know, if he was here with his firefighter friends, they may find a high spot and wait it out, but he was here with his family, and they were staying on the first floor right here, and they wanted to make sure that they got out of here.
Yeah, not in areas like Ocracoke. You don't want to stay there because those areas don't even have roads that come in and out.
Yeah.
And when they shut down the ferries, there's no way out.
All right, when we come back on AMHQ, we are live throughout the entire 24-hour period right here on your Weather Channel to keep you informed, and of course, we'll be talking about it throughout the morning on our show. Stay with us.
Hurricane coverage is brought to you by State Farm. When nature strikes, State Farm is there to get you to a better state. Protect your property and loved ones by properly securing windows with storm shutters or plywood panels. This hurricane preparedness tip brought to you by State Farm.
Ike, Andrew, Rita, Ivan, Sandy, meet Chris, Jackie, Joe, Shannon. Minor damage or major disaster. When you need us most, we're there. State Farm. We're a force of nature, too.
Want to celebrate the 4th without little uninvited guests? Stop by your neighborhood Ace to get Ortho Home Defense Max with Comfort Wand. Just $9.99 after $3 instant savings during our 4th of July event, happening now.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Ugh, the stress.
New Coppertone Clearly Sheer sunscreens. Barely noticeable and face-friendly for beach, pool, and sunny days. Perfect, no matter what you're wearing.
It's so on.
Coppertone Clearly Sheer. It's on.
I'm a loving husband and a real good dad, but weeds just make me rattlesnake mad. Well, Roundup has a sharp-shooting wand. I'm sending them weeds to the great beyond. Roundup. Yeah. No need to pump, just point and shoot. Hit them in the leaves and it kills to the root. Ground fences, trees, even mulched beds, because the only good weed is a weed that's dead. Roundup. Yeah. Roundup. Yeah. With a one-touch wand.
This is Mike. His long race day starts with back pain and a choice.
Take 4 Advil in a day, which is 2 Aleve for all-day relief.
This July 4th, let's think about what it means to be independent, to be free. That's what built manufacturing in America, and it's what will rebuild it. You can see it happening in small towns where factories are pumping life back into communities, and we are once again calling the shots. So, enjoy the holiday, and then let's go to work.
Of milk, all the deliciousness of Hershey's syrup. Squeeze, stir, share.
Tomorrow morning on AMHQ, Tropical Storm Arthur will affect the holiday plans of millions. Get the first word on the holiday weekend weather tomorrow morning on the Weather Channel.
In our area, 81 degrees under mostly cloudy skies.
Top of the hour to you, and welcome to Hour 2 of AMHQ. We are live right here in Kill Devil Hills. I'm here with meteorologist Stephanie Abrams. We've got the brand new information out on Hurricane Arthur. Let's get it up on the screen right now and deliver it to you. Steph, what's important about this is that the wind speeds have gone up to about 80 miles an hour now.
Yes, they have, and actually the pressure has dropped also. When the pressure drops, that indicates strengthening, and also it's moving north-northeast now. at 9 miles an hour. So it's feeling the influence of that front when it's having that easterly component to it.
Right. Both the jet stream and the front are on the west of this storm. It's riding the edge of a ridge of area of high pressure that's off to its east. We expected a northeastern turn. We're getting it, which means this storm is on track. We have complete coverage, team coverage on this storm right here on AMHQ. Stay with us. We're live. All right. Well, we're so live that we're live right now. Now, I believe that Jim Cantori is just down to our south of us. So, Jim, you're actually in a place where you have been told, and everyone around you has been told to evacuate. Jim, in Salvo, North Carolina, if you were to look on the elbow there, you're just on the south edge of the point there in Salvo, right at Hatteras, and you can see the line of traffic behind you. Good morning, Jim.
Yeah, exactly, Sam. This is a bad area because it floods, and they just don't want people on the roads or in that danger. And I mean, some of this water can get 3, 4, 5 feet high. Remember, back in 2011, we had a massive hurricane called Irene that hammered my home state of Vermont, but it hit here first, and it hammered this area, Highway 12. And these are people that have been pretty steady. I mean, sometimes it's light, sometimes it's heavier, but people have been getting out. I've been looking at the cameras from the North Carolina DOT, and they have been pretty steady. So we don't have any traffic jams here on Highway 12. People have really been leaving since last night. Now, here's the problem with where I am on the National Seashore, okay? There's the sound right there. And when the storm goes by us tomorrow morning, winds will come around from the north-northwest, and that means that it'll push that sound water back over. So what we don't get from the ocean, which is a couple hundred yards off the other way, at least here, in some places it's not even 100 yards wide, we're going to get from the sound side. So we're going to get east fetch, northwest fetch, and eventually, again, the road just piles up with water. Now, the good news is they prepared for this. They've got equipment standing by, big bucket loaders, Sam, and they're going to push that water and that sand off the road and get people in here as quickly as possible. Now, remember, up toward Rodanthe, though, we still have that temporary bridge. So, hopefully that will fare well through all of this. But once they say, hey, these roads are safe, they've got the sand and the water off the road, the people can come back. But until then, they want everybody off. They want everybody safe. There's a very good chance we could lose power. By this time tomorrow morning, Sam, things will be improving here on the Outer Banks. Steph and Sam, back to you.
Absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely right, Jim. Things will be a little bit better. And as we go through the day here, we know it'll get worse into the evening hours, Stephanie. Let's get you caught up on this storm. By the way, we jumped right into it with the new information. But basically, we know we have a hurricane as of about 5 o'clock this morning. Let's show you from now until a little bit of some model data. Show the expectation of where this storm will go. Do we have that? Are we ready to go? Yeah, right. The first graphic will be that satellite imagery that jumps from where we are now, a little bit ahead. All right, so take a look at this. As we move through here, you can see what we're expecting to happen here. Take a look at the clouds and watch it spin. And look at how, well, we've had a little difficulty maintaining a strong eye in this storm just because it's been fighting some dry air. The expectation is that we'll continue to see that little wobble, that little ripple in the eye as this storm continues to move a little bit. Stephanie, we already have hurricane watches and warnings out this morning. If people are just waking up this morning, they kind of need to know what they are.
Yeah, and when you have a warning, that means you'll see those types of conditions within 36 hours or less. And I want to make a note that hurricane force winds extend out 25 miles from the center, and tropical storm force winds extend out 90 miles from the center. So don't pay attention to exactly where the center is. We are going to see those winds far out from that.
Right, and even if it's cruising by you on the coastline, you'll get some impact. Dr. Greg Postel will take us a little bit deeper into the storm this morning. Greg, good morning.
Yeah, hey, Sam, thank you very much. Let's have a live look now at Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina, and you can see what we're seeing right now out to the camera, that weather is beginning to deteriorate a little bit, and we'll see sort of that progression as we move through the afternoon hours. That camera shot looks like we've got some rain showers moving in, which is exactly what the radar is telling us, and we're going to see more and more of this today. Let's have a look at the radar and show you what is moving onshore from the ocean from Hurricane Arthur. There we go. There is the hurricane right out here. The center of circulation, about 110 miles to the southeast of Charleston, South Carolina. That's the eye. We have a well-defined eye now with thunderstorms completely encircling it. Unlike yesterday, we had sort of a semicircle appearance. Now we've got a complete circle. This storm is strengthening. And as we told you earlier, the winds are now up to 80 miles per hour, and it is moving toward the north-northeast a little bit, just east of due north. So that means it's not going to get a whole lot closer to the South Carolina coast, we don't think. But watch out up here in North Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina. Conditions are going to get worse throughout the day. And here are some of those rain showers moving on board. Even some lightning strikes farther out to the sea, but I think those are weakening, those big storms as they approach the coast. That's good news there. But we're going to have a rainy day, and it's going to get windier and windier, at least sort of maybe not hour by hour, but every 6 hours you might notice a pickup in the winds or so through the afternoon. And this is where we think Arthur's going to go. This is the cone from the Hurricane Center showing you where we think the center is going to track. We do believe that it could really go anywhere inside of this cone, perhaps the center of it moving inland overnight tonight and tomorrow morning in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. That would likely bring hurricane force wind gusts to this region, including Cape Hatteras, overnight tonight and perhaps into early tomorrow morning. Then it moves rapidly out to sea. If it stays way on the right side of this cone, that would be the best news of all, and that would likely keep the eye wall offshore and the hurricane force gusts with it as well. But again, it's just too early to call exactly where the center is going to go. But what we do think, regardless of where inside this cone Arthur goes, we do think there'll be some minor coastal flooding along parts of South Carolina with storm surge up to 1 to 3 feet there from Charleston up to Wilmington and farther to the north. This is above highest high tide. So this is water that might move up above where normally the high tide peaks out. So we got 2 to 4 feet there in parts of the Outer Banks of North Carolina and in parts of Albemarle and Pamlico Sound as well. So this may be one of the biggest impacts that we see from Arthur, in addition to perhaps hurricane force wind gusts tonight. Maria, back to you.
And Greg, you know, we're looking at two very interesting weather stories here kind of coming together over the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic, because the Northeast is dealing with the influence of a cold front, and we're already starting to see some showers and thunderstorms. If your route is 287, 78, say into New York and Manhattan, you've got some showers here. That's definitely slowing you down. That'll be working its way into parts of the New York immediate metro over the next few hours, including Edison by you at 8:46, waiting for that bus at Newark at 9:08 by you, and in through that 9:30 half hour for the immediate Manhattan area. But you can see the showers already kind of getting together. Remember yesterday afternoon, with all of that moisture, you had a ton of rain, a lot of flash flooding. That could be setting up again today. Big area all the way from Virginia clear on up and through Maine. So be aware of that. And the timing, again, could not be worse here. We're talking after lunch towards the evening rush. Places like Pittsburgh, it's for you, the lunch hour, State College, on into Allentown for the evening drive. Also for Washington. New York, it's headed your way after dinner hour and on up into New England as well. And you can see Arthur making our frame there overnight Friday. You can see with New York City, it's going to be an afternoon deal. Not as hot as yesterday, but still quite warm into the mid and upper 80s. Again, the primary threat's going to be the damaging winds. Remember the light show that was put on with these thunderstorms yesterday? Dangerous lightning as well. Not so much hail, but we could see, again, that torrential rainfall that is really going to be a problem out on the roadways. Sam, back over to you.
All right, Maria, and that's all up and down the I-95 corridor, really from Washington, D.C., well up into New York and Boston, expecting those storms. And as you look live out over Kill Devil Hills in North Carolina, the day will completely change as this storm continues to move a little bit north. It's making a jog to the east. That's good news, but it doesn't leave this coastline clear. We're live all morning long on AMHQ. Stay with us.
Currently in our area, 81 degrees under mostly cloudy skies.
the hour. Welcome back to AMHQ. We are continuing our coverage of Hurricane Arthur. Mandatory evacuations are in place. Carteret County in North Carolina, the latest county to declare a state of emergency. Mandatory evacuations are in place in parts of the Outer Banks. 29 other counties have also declared a state of emergency. Now, voluntary evacuations for Ocracoke Island. The Dare County Emergency Management will release more updates at 10 o'clock this morning. And in order to ease backups as residents and visitors evacuate Ocracoke Island, the North Carolina Department of Transportation's Ferry Division has adjusted its Hatteras Inlet schedule. Here's a look at the next 4 departures this morning from Ocracoke and Hatteras Island. In addition, 4 boats will be used as shuttles, making unscheduled runs between Ocracoke and Hatteras to alleviate backups. Ferry tolls are also waived. North Carolina Governor Pat McCrory holding a press conference yesterday, encouraging people to stay safe the next couple of days.
We ask that folks in the eastern part of the state, and especially along the coast and the Outer Banks, listen to media outlets, weather reports, and your local officials for updates in your area. Assemble emergency supply kits and make a plan on what to do if you are impacted by the storm.
And the governor will hold another conference at 10 o'clock this morning. We'll bring you the latest information as soon as we get it. But heading north in New York, part of the Brooklyn Bridge damaged as strong thunderstorms moved through the area, injuring 5 people. The facade gave way under the overpass at Prospect and Washington Streets. Crews say a 25-foot wide section was damaged. No word yet on what caused the collapse. But continuing our coverage of Hurricane Arthur with Sam Champion back in Devil Hills, North Carolina. This is impacting a lot of July 4th celebrations, but I wanted to tell you, Sam, the party is not postponed at Awful Arthur's Oyster Bar, which is not far from where you are.
Fantastic. It's good to know, Anna Rennis, and we'll see if we have time during coverage of this storm to drop in. So here's the deal. As we continue to watch this storm move by, a lot of people are wanting to know their specific town. So hashtag day ahead is where you ask us to get your forecast in. And if we haven't done it, let's get to it. So let's concentrate on the southeast. We'll look at the zone. And of course, the major player is this Hurricane Arthur. First one of the season, moving up the coastline. If you had to find it right now, you'd kind of look off that South Carolina border and you'd see that center of circulation in the Atlantic. But one of the places you wanted to know a little bit more was Wrightsville Beach in North Carolina. And that's a good thing, because if you look at where this storm is, it's good to know what's happening in your direction, because you're kind of creased into some of the rain. So at 8 o'clock this morning, what we're expecting, and even though I hear that we're getting some showers right now, we've got a mixture of sunshine and clouds on that coastal area. By 1 o'clock, you're solidly in those bands of rain. By 7 p.m., you're picking up some good, strong winds. Temperatures never really break that 80, 81 degree. I think if some sunshine gets in between, it would be easy to climb to 85 pretty quickly in that area. So there's your hashtag day ahead. And remember that each city along the coastline will have a different impact with their weather, with their winds. The timing's very important to you as we move up. But this storm is expected to kind of affect every community well up into northern New England before we're into the weekend, and that's between now and Friday, and that's why we need all eyes on the Weather Channel this morning. Throughout the day, we'll have 24-hour coverage, and our Reynolds Wolf right now is in Wrightsville Beach. Reynolds, you're about 185 miles down the beach from me, and I've heard that already you've seen some rain moving on shore. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Sam. We have indeed had some of the first rain bands move on shore. You know, in life, just like with storms, you have these transitional moments. You have these pivot points. Well, in the life of this system, Arthur, and this community of Wrightsville Beach, we've had our first pivot point. We've had our first transition. The rain came through. Visibility got very poor, especially about 100 yards offshore. Things are now improving, but you'll notice farther back towards the center of the circulation, you're going to have more bands coming through. It is like a giant atmospheric saw blade, and as it marches its way towards the north, it's going to bring with it more rainfall. It's going to bring with it, at the same time, some very rough surf. And, of course, the strong wind is going to be another component. So we are going to be seeing conditions get worse as we go hour by hour into the evening, then overnight. But I got to tell you, Sam, long term as we go into both Saturday and Sunday, it's going to be a spectacular weekend. It will be really nice. Just got to deal with this quick shot. One thing we're also going to contend with when it comes to this quick shot is still the possibility of things getting very bad. So with that, the governor has already activated some members of the National Guard. They're over right across the intercoastal over in Wilmington, standing by, ready to take action. We also have swift water rescue teams also at the ready, just being there in case things really turn south. Hey, let's turn it back to Atlanta. For that, we send it to Maria. Take it away, Maria.
All right. Thank you so much, Reynolds. Appreciate much more ahead on AMHQ. Greg Postel has the very latest from Hurricane Arthur, including when the storm will make landfall. We continue to get all the data in, new updates as well. Plus, we'll hear from a member of the hurricane hunters, you know, the guys that fly directly into the storm. So key in getting that up-to-the-minute information that we can put into those computer models to get the best forecast we can get. Well, what's making Hurricane Arthur unique? We're going to talk to them live coming up in just a few minutes. But obviously, all eyes continue to be focused on tracking Hurricane Arthur. You're looking live right now at Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina. Dark skies, storms rolling in. The first effects of Hurricane Arthur now being felt in coastal Carolina. We'll be back.
Searching with devotion for a snack that isn't lame, but this takes my breath away.
Looks like the Garcias got a new car.
What'd they get?
I don't know.
Sure doesn't look like a Buick.
I'm outside. Where are you?
I'm right here. I'm in the Buick.
I don't see a Buick.
Take a fresh look at Buick. It just might surprise you.
Ooh, that's not a Buick. That's what I told him. Wow. This is nice. Oh, my.
Enjoy the dealer experience ranked highest by J.D. Power and get $1,250 Independence Day cash plus 0% financing for 60 months on the 2014 Enclave.
There once was a hungry road that ate up tires, wearing down tread and wearing out safety. Then along came the Michelin.
My husband worked at a power plant where the asbestos fell like snow.
My dad got mesothelioma from asbestos.
Oh, the diagnosis was devastating.
We chose Cooney and Conway because they're highly experienced in this area.
They were more than lawyers. They were human beings.
There was no money up front.
It showed my sons that there is justice in the world.
Call 1-800-322-5573. Cooney and Conway. Justice with a passion.
Just a little inspiration is all you need.
Going on now. Entire store-wide savings at Carl's Patio. Come celebrate with us and enjoy store-wide savings up to 30% on a huge selection of outdoor furniture, umbrellas, accessories, and so much more. Hurry! Don't miss your chance to save up to 30% right now, only at Carl's Patio.
Now really going somewhere.
Find your inspiration at Carl's Patio.
Now really going somewhere.
TV 500 at Vistaprint.com.
I love my job.
Vistaprint.com.
Home improvement improved with the Home Depot Project of the Week. We take you step by step through great seasonal tips and easy-to-do projects for your home and garden every Saturday morning on Weather Center Live. And for more information and inspiration for your next how-to project, go to weather.com/Home Depot.
Stay tuned for your Local on the 8s, brought to you by ServPro, helping make sure your home and business is ready for whatever happens.
Everything is ruined.
It's okay. We're ready.
When the things that matter most are on the line, make sure we are too. The Fire and Water Cleanup Team at 1-800-SERVPRO. Like it never even happened.
Wait! Prilosec's not made for immediate heartburn relief. Zantac's different. Zantac rushes relief in as little as 30 minutes. Prilosec can take 24 hours. Zantac. No pill relieves heartburn faster.
State officials urge complete evacuation. Severe flooding is expected.
It's okay. We're ready.
When the things that matter most are on the line, make sure we are too. The Storm Response Team at 1-800-SERVPRO. Like it never even happened.
Currently in our area, 81 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, partly cloudy with an afternoon shower or thunderstorm. High 93. Chance of rain 40%. Tonight, thunderstorms early, low 76. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Welcome back to AMHQ. It is 19 minutes after the hour. You can see the Atlantic behind us, just a light roll here at Kill Devil Hills. We've got some folks out on the beach this morning trying to squeeze in just a little bit of open sky. This storm is less than 200 miles away from where I'm standing right now. Latest information is now we have an 80-mile-per-hour storm, so we're solidly in that Category 1 level. Hurricane Hunter airplanes picked up that wind, and so we've adjusted that to watch this storm continue to move up the coastline. Now, let's get some more information on this storm, and to do that, we'll go into our broadcast headquarters in Atlanta. That's where Dr. Greg Postel is. Greg, with all the latest information and the path information on this storm. Good morning, Greg.
Yeah, good morning, Sam. That's right. The Hurricane Hunter's been flying in there all morning. They found some pretty high winds in the last hour or two, maybe up to 90 miles per hour, so in very localized spots. So overall, they think when they estimate the strength of it, they're giving it upgraded to an 80-mile-per-hour Category 1 hurricane right now, with the pressure coming down now into the low 980 millibar range. So this is a strengthening storm moving northeastward now, closer and closer to the North Carolina coast and South Carolina coast. Let's have a look at the hurricane watches and warnings out right now. You can see that those areas shaded in purple, those are the hurricane warnings, and those are the tropical storm warnings that flank it on the north and south side, including in parts of southeastern Virginia. Let's have a look right now at what's going on for the impacts for Wilmington, North Carolina, for example. Peak impacts late tonight, where we expect rough surf and rip currents. Minor coastal flooding is possible. Storm surge maybe 1 to 3 feet, something like that, above the highest high tide there. So that would be some minor coastal flooding along parts of southern North Carolina. Right now, that's about where the center of circulation is, maybe 100 miles southeast of Charleston, South Carolina. Right now along the coast, the winds are not that strong, 10 to 15 miles per hour sustained. Close in on Wilmington and the Wrightsville Beach area, you can see some storms rolling in off the ocean inland. We have a view now from the beach at Wrightsville Beach. We can look at that. It looks pretty dark out there to me. I would not be surprised to see some wind gusts of 20 to 30 miles per hour as these bands roll on in from the ocean, from the outer periphery of Hurricane Arthur. So let's go back to the radar and show you that we've got a couple of more of these to deal with, at least in the next half hour, in parts of southeastern South Carolina. And here's where we think Arthur's going to go. This is a cone now from the National Hurricane Center, and the center is likely to track inside of this cone this evening. As it moves northeastward, perhaps the center will get onshore in eastern North Carolina, bringing hurricane force wind gusts with it, as we think it strengthens to an 85-mile-per-hour hurricane, and then it moves rapidly northeastward from there, probably not significantly impacting the Northeast. This is not that big a storm. The hurricane force winds extend out. We're probably not more than 20 or 30 miles away from the center. That's good news. Maria, back to you.
All right, Dr. Postel, thank you so much. You know, so much of the information for hurricanes is gathered by hurricane hunters. These men and women literally fly a WC-130J aircraft into the storm to gauge the wind speeds and pressure and a number of other data points. We now bring in Barry Damiano, Senior Flight Director with the NOAA Hurricane Hunters. And sir, we appreciate your time so much. Got to tell our viewers that we are speaking to you live as you guys are making the last pass through the storm. Any interesting data that you guys have picked out so far? Maybe something unique about Arthur at this point?
Well, right now we went through the east side of the storm, and that was a pretty good ride. We found 91 knots at flight level and 82 knots down at the surface as we made our pass through all through the eye wall there.
You say a pretty good ride. Obviously, we're talking turbulence. Is that pretty typical? Are we seeing typical conditions right now as you guys are flying through?
It's pretty typical for a storm of this intensity right now.
And I have to ask, too, NOAA's considering the use of drones, perhaps. Any talk about using any of that in this storm to gather more information?
I didn't understand you on that. Could you repeat that, please?
Sure. Talking about maybe the use of drones, perhaps in the future, or any considered for use in this storm?
The drones that we're planning on using are going to be later in the year. We're going to do some testing with them later in August and toward the beginning of September, and we'll find a storm to try to deploy those. But for this flight right now, we don't have any of those drones on board.
All right. We thank you guys so much for all your hard work. And that was Barry Damiano, Senior Flight Director with the NOAA Hurricane Hunters, in the air making another pass through Arthur. We are going to make another pass to get you the latest after the break.
Hurricane coverage is brought to you by State Farm. When nature strikes, State Farm is there to get you to a better state. Be sure to secure or move any potential flying objects inside. This hurricane preparedness tip brought to you by State Farm.
Ike. Andrew. Rita. Ivan. Sandy. Meet Chris. Jackie. Joe. Shannon. Minor damage or major disaster. When you need us most, we're there. State Farm. We're a force of nature, too.
Sun's out. Challenge issued.
New Copper Tone Sport AccuSpray. Designed to help you spray where you want, not where you don't.
It's so on.
Copper Tone Sport AccuSpray. It's on.
Let's do the one thing that changes everything. And let's start at the place with more #1 choices than any other store. Get $5 off cans and $20 off buckets of select paints and stains. Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
I'm Adam Richmond. To get a tender steak like these that I picked up at Walmart, look for great marbling. Just the right amount brings out the flavor in heaping forkfuls of joy.
Try all natural steaks from Walmart today. They're 100% guaranteed or your money back.
If you're taking multiple medications, does your mouth often feel dry? A dry mouth can be a side effect of many medications, but it can also lead to tooth decay and bad breath. That's why there's Biotene. Available as an oral rinse, toothpaste, spray, or gel, Biotene can provide soothing relief, and it helps keep your mouth healthy, too. Remember, while your medication is doing you good, a dry mouth isn't. Biotene, for people who suffer from dry mouth.
This is Jane. Her long day on set starts with shoulder pain and a choice.
Take 6 Tylenol a day or just 2 Aleve for all-day relief.
Roll sound. Action.
Bridgestone's new Drive Guard tires are engineered to take a puncture and go up to 50 miles.
We can drive 50 miles on a flat, and you have an app that makes nails pop up?
Yep.
We could rule the world. But I've got carpool at 3, though, so
that time
we could, mess with the world.
50 miles on a flat. Because if your tires keep rolling, your day does too. And there's no better place to get your Bridgestone Drive Guard tires than Firestone Complete Auto Care.
Want to celebrate the 4th without little uninvited guests? Stop by your neighborhood Ace to get Ortho Home Defense Max with Comfort Wand. Just $9.99 after $3 instant savings during our 4th of July event, happening now.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Tomorrow morning on AMHQ, Tropical Storm Arthur will affect the holiday plans of millions. Get the first word on the holiday weekend weather tomorrow morning on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area.
Back to America's Morning Headquarters right here on your Weather Channel. It's about 29 minutes after the hour, and we're in complete and total coverage on Hurricane Arthur, the first named storm of this Atlantic hurricane season. I'm live here with Stephanie Abrams. You're looking live, by the way, at a picture of Wrightsville Beach. This is one area of the Outer Banks, or right up to next to the Outer Banks, where the weather is already impacting the North Carolina coastline. Stephanie, it's just part of that little band of radar that
Yeah,
we've
and
got.
here's the thing. We have to remember that this whole system is 450 miles in diameter.
Yeah.
Okay?
Look at that cloud. Look at the
how
span
massive.
of the clouds.
That's
there.
like going from D.C. up to Portland. So you don't have to be right in the center. We don't need to focus on that, though. Right around the eye is where we will have the strongest storms. Our winds currently at 80 miles an hour. Category 1 hurricane goes from 74 to 95 miles an hour, and we think it will stay in that Category 1 range.
Absolutely. And now, even as this storm not expected to make an impact on South Carolina's coastline, but look at the storms already there, already in the North Carolina shore. So we have complete and total team coverage like no other network on television could deliver. We're fanned out live, not only on this coastline, but all the way up the shoreline we'll have folks. We have our broadcast headquarters live in Atlanta operational as well. And we will be live all day, all night, until this storm completely clears the coastline and we can give you the all clear to enjoy your holiday weekend. Until then, though, let's get you in front of the weather. So here's how we do it. We put the best maps in the business on the board right there. And one of the other stories that we need to talk about are these storms that will light up in the Northeast again today. The storms are so strong that you're going to be going, hey, are we part of the tropical system? And the answer to that is no, not yet. But you have the heat, you've got high humidity, and you've got a cold front working through. So yesterday's storms, powerful operational storms will happen again today, and watch that light up the sky.
And this front is actually what's going to sweep this Arthur out to sea. It's actually going to protect the Northeast from getting a hurricane. It's going to kind of mash on up, but that means that we're going to have a lot of bad weather.
Yeah, a lot of bad weather. You're looking at the hurricane position right now, and also the fact that we will have these storms, even if that storm and is expected to stay off the coast of South Carolina. Our Jim Cantori is just a little bit to the south of us. Jim, right in the place where folks are being evacuated, of course, is Hurricane
on an island.
Our storm tracker, Jim Cantori. Jim?
Yeah, you guys get to stay. I would be leaving, obviously, but we're going to come down here and show everybody pictures of what's going to be happening, especially overnight tonight when the worst of it's coming in. This is when we expect Highway 12 behind us to flood, and you don't want an island that's full of people to be out here driving around, obviously, on flooded streets. And we know the storm, once it leaves, the water will come down, but is there going to be a foot of sand on Highway 12? That's a possibility, or a couple of feet of water. Let me show you, though, what happens when a hurricane comes just to the west of the Outer Banks. Now, this is going back to 2011, Hurricane Irene, a hurricane that just absolutely pummeled my home state of Vermont, and it pummeled the Outer Banks first as a strong Category 2. We don't expect this to be that, but look at the tremendous structural damage to the roads. Big wave action.